Good to be with you. I'm Tony DeCoppel. The breaking news right now. Luigi Mangione admits to gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, the victim's family right there in the front row. And how long could this now confessed killer spend behind bars? Also tonight, President Trump denying and downplaying health concerns for sailors aboard the USS Lincoln amid a record-long run at sea.
No. Not nearly long enough.
Catastrophic floods in the Midwest as water rescues continue across several states. And those wildfires ripping through Europe, whole villages evacuated, the bones of medieval kings rushed out of the burn zone.
Oh my God!
And the new video tonight, a fighter jet slams into a mountainside in Washington state. The pilot ejects. Tonight, what first responders saw when they found him. Also, a big break in a major art heist after thieves are caught on video lifting multi-million-dollar masterpieces right off a museum wall.
How embarrassed.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCoppel.
Good evening, and we begin with that bombshell moment in Lower Manhattan today. Luigi Mangione under oath in an open court detailing how he stalked and killed the CEO of United Healthcare back in 2024. The shooting, which gave Mangione a kind of dark celebrity among extreme critics of the health insurance industry, ended the life of Brian Thompson, a 50-year-old father of two raised on an Iowa farm. And the Thompson family was there today, front row, as Mangione detailed what he'd done and how. Our Tom Hansen with full details.
The chilling details of a cold-blooded crime were on full display as Luigi Mangione, shackled and cuffed in a tan jumpsuit, came face-to-face with Brian Thompson's family for the first time. In his own words, he admitted to stalking and gunning down the United Healthcare CEO back in December 2024. December 4th, 2024, I shot Mr. Thompson in Manhattan and he died. When I did so, I understood that my actions would place him in fear of death or serious bodily injury. I know what I was doing was illegal. The 28-year-old recounted how he methodically planned the crime inside a hushed courtroom as Thompson's family wiped away tears. I learned that United Healthcare would be holding its annual investor conference in New York City. I then emailed United Healthcare leadership posing as an investor at a firm managing over $50 billion in assets and requesting information about the conference. I received an immediate response within an hour. Those details emerged minutes after Mangione entered a guilty plea on 2 counts of stalking resulting in death, which could carry a life sentence. It's been over a year and a half since Mangione was first arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and extradited to New York City. Authorities had released surveillance video showing a masked and hooded individual approaching Thompson from behind outside a Midtown hotel and opening fire.
We had the chance to sit down with the family this morning, and they have been grieving for almost 2 years as Brian was taken away in the most heinous way possible.
Thompson's family members were seen quickly leaving the courthouse, taunted by supporters of Mangione. Mangione has faced both federal and state charges, appearing repeatedly in both jurisdictions, raising complicated questions of double jeopardy.
We just filed our motion in state court explaining why the state charges must be dismissed under New York's double jeopardy protections.
And Mangione's sentencing is scheduled for December 18th. Today, the Thompson family also issued a statement which reads in part, "Today's guilty plea marks an important step toward justice," adding, "We are grateful that the federal justice system has held the person responsible for this heinous act accountable." Tony.
Tom, thank you. So let's bring in federal criminal defense attorney and CBS News legal analyst Caroline Polisi. Caroline, great to have you here. We were watching all this unfold today together, and it's interesting. This was a simple change of plea, not a plea deal.
Right.
Why would Mangione do that?
I think he likely made a really calculated decision with his attorneys, thinking, well, what's my best possible shot of getting something other than life in prison? Because he's pleading guilty, it's an acceptance of responsibility under the federal sentencing guidelines. He gets a little bit of credit for that. So he potentially might not get life in prison. I think that was his last shot. I also think it likely was a quality of life decision. If he serves the federal time, he gets to serve it in a federal prison, which is much better than serving it in a state facility.
Very interesting. Yeah. So what does this mean for the state trial? So as we just heard, that had been scheduled to start next month. Now his legal team saying we want that dismissed. What happens next?
Yeah, they wasted no time in filing a motion in the state court saying we're reviving our double jeopardy jeopardy claims, which they've been raising since the beginning of this case. But now that they have a conviction in the federal case, that claim is revived. They're saying it's not fair, fundamentally unfair, for him to be prosecuted for the same crime in 2 different jurisdictions. It's a long shot motion. It's not frivolous. There is some good law underpinning that argument. I think we're going to see the state case get pushed back a little bit to litigate this issue.
All right, very interesting. Caroline, thank you.
Sure.
President Trump is denying and downplaying concerns first detailed by military newspapers for the mental health and wellness of sailors aboard the USS Lincoln amid a very long deployment in support of the war against Iran. Here's senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata with what the president had to say.
Despite nearly 9 months at sea and amid reports of poor conditions and deteriorating mental health aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, today President Trump downplayed those concerns.
No. Not nearly long enough.
Shortages of basic supplies, plumbing issues, and plummeting morale has sparked concern among military families who confronted top Pentagon brass last week.
All of us as parents have some questions about the length of time that it's taken and the distribution of military assets.
In his first statement since the issues came to light, Acting Secretary of the Navy Hung Kao pushed back, saying war is hell and normal routines are disrupted. He went on to say there had been no loss of life and no meals had been missed. Now, help is on the way. U.S. officials confirm the USS George Washington aircraft carrier is headed from the Pacific to the Middle East to replace the Lincoln. But that could take weeks.
That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
Senator Richard Blumenthal sent a letter to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth earlier this week demanding answers.
When a member of the military raises their right hand, they should expect that our leaders should do everything possible to avoid additional hardship.
The senator called the conditions on the ship abhorrent, but he said that the acting Navy secretary's statement is a beginning. Meanwhile, we don't know how long it's going to take for the George Washington to reach that region. Tony?
Charlie, we're also just learning that the Pentagon has grounded all Apache helicopters. What do you know about that?
Yes, Tony, this just happened this afternoon. So we're told the temporary stand down is for training flight operations following that crash on Wednesday, that fatal crash. So the Pentagon identified both crew members today, 34-year-old Chief Warrant Officer DeAndre Huey and 25-year-old Warrant Officer Seth Olmstead. We understand that that suspension will remain in place until they figure out exactly what happened. Tony?
Charlie, thank you very much. Someone vandalized the World War II memorial on the National Mall in Washington yesterday, and today federal officials say they have the suspect in custody. It's a 41-year-old woman from Kentucky, allegedly seen here spray painting the words "Clean Hands, Dirty Money" using the symbol for money. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro's office says the woman posted those videos on social media. Now to what could have been a very big problem. 2 American Airlines jets briefly sharing the same flight number and radio frequency, how it happened, and the veteran air traffic controller who caught it. Here's senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
Call sign confusion. Tonight, American Airlines is investigating how 2 planes with the same flight number ended up in the same vicinity at the same time.
American 2482 on the arrival. If you're on the arrival on the Eagle, you know what? Somebody else has your American 2482 on the arrival. I need you to maintain 10,000. On the departure, I need you to maintain 9,000. Traffic 1 o'clock and 10 miles is your company. Same call sign out of 1,800 descending to 10,000.
Incredible. We're looking. Thank you.
American 2482 from Chicago to Phoenix was descending to land just as the other 2482 from Phoenix to Chicago was climbing after takeoff. Controllers keeping the 2 737s safely apart.
I've been working air traffic for 25 years. I've never seen 2 aircraft pretty much merge with the same call sign. That's pretty incredible. Could have been disastrous, but I'm glad it all worked out.
American praised the professionalism of the controller and its pilots. So what happened here? The Chicago flight was late, so American swapped in a different plane for the Phoenix to Chicago leg, but kept the same flight number on both planes, Tony.
Really remarkable. Chris, thanks. Now to a new video of the moments after a fighter jet crashed into a mountainside in Washington state. This was back in June. The pilot bailed out and survived, bloodied and apparently dazed when found by a sheriff's deputy. Senior national correspondent Mark Strassman has more.
Oh my God! Final seconds of flight. You're watching a FA-18 Hornet fighter jet careen into a mountainside in Washington state.
Did it crash?
By then, pilot Marine Corps Major Jackson Simon had ejected.
Are you the only pilot? I am, sir.
Okay. And here's proof. Body cam video we're seeing for the first time of the aftermath. The Marine Corps Major had been dazzling lakeside spectators, circling with thunderous, low-flying maneuvers. Then his fighter jet hit power lines. The show was over. Physically, he looked fine, other than a face streaked with blood and dirt. He called 911.
I'm on the other side of the ridge. I do see a fire burning to the south of the road.
A sizable brush fire that spread across 2 acres, along with a ruined plane and a pilot dazed but alive.
We were doing circles over the lake, doing some low-level training. Okay. And then I tucked in, and I'm not sure exactly. Honestly, I'm a little... Nope, you're fine.
Military investigators have yet to blame the crash on the jet hitting those power lines. What we do know, the jet itself is a loss in the tens of millions of dollars. Tony?
Glad the pilot's okay. Mark, thank you. The latest now on the flood emergency in the Midwest. Parts of Indiana getting more than a foot of rain this week. One river hitting its highest level since 1913. And tonight, 9 states from Nebraska to Virginia are under flood watches. CBS's Ian Lee tonight from the storm zone.
The rain has been relentless. Nearly a week of repeated rounds of torrential rainfall have devastated parts of the Midwest. Blinding downpours and strong winds turned roads into rivers in Bloomington, Illinois. While in Neon, Kentucky, a car was seen floating down the street. But it's Indiana that's taken the brunt. Nearly a foot of rain has submerged entire towns, leaving boats the only way to get around.
Never thought you'd be kayaking down your road, huh?
This is a first for me.
The White River swelled to a record high, just below 25 feet, its highest level in more than 100 years.
I'm at the intersection of 8th and Ruddle in Anderson, Indiana. As you can see, there's businesses and homes here, and while the water is receding, the damage is already done.
The damage is overwhelming. This dramatic video shows floodwaters knee-deep inside Yorktown's public library.
It's all waterlogged.
Timothy Hicks's home has been gutted.
Everything, my refrigerator, my stove, my dishwasher, water was over top of them.
He says his family of 8 will now have to find somewhere else to live.
It just crushed me. My kids' house is gone.
We've actually seen these waters slowly rise throughout the day. Neighbors told us they could be ordered to evacuate at any moment as more storms hit the region this weekend, which could deliver over 4 inches of rain. Tony?
Hope not. Ian, thanks. To those scenes of destruction across Europe now amid the 5th major heat wave of the season and fires burning out of control. This is the coast of Croatia. Towering flames forcing 1,000 people to evacuate there. And here's a view from off the coast of Greece of huge flames and thick smoke just outside a resort village there. While over in Spain, some of the country's cultural heritage was under threat. The remains of 11th century kings had to be rushed out of a monastery as the flames moved in. Still ahead on the broadcast, investigators recovering 3 masterpieces stolen from a museum, how the thieves did it, and how they got caught. Now to a breakthrough in the case of a $10 million art heist. 3 masterworks lifted off the walls of an Italian museum last March, but now 5 accused thieves are under arrest, and all 3 paintings have been recovered. Here's CBS News correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti.
In just 3 minutes, thieves worked their way through the halls of this private museum in an Italian villa, easily picking works of art right off the walls. They headed out through a first-floor window, ran through the garden before vanishing into the night. In their hands, no ordinary paintings. The works of Cézanne, Renoir, and Matisse valued at a combined $10 million. Italian police say they didn't get very far. The artwork was recovered and 5 suspects arrested just a few miles from the scene of the crime in a nearby apartment. Those arrested are linked to a known crime ring. Investigators say what the thieves left behind cracked the case: a pickaxe and a fire extinguisher. They traced the serial numbers and connected them to the apartment building. The heist follows the break-in at the Louvre in Paris. Those thieves made off with pieces from the French crown jewels and other treasures worth more than $100 million. Despite multiple arrests, the jewels have never been recovered.
And the masterpieces stolen in Parma were found stashed in an empty cardboard television box. Art experts say the works were so recognizable, they were nearly impossible to resell, Tony.
Jonathan, thank you. Still ahead, the player won the match. The dog stole the show. Last night at the Canadian Open, a golden retriever named Elway stole the show. Already famous in Toronto as the resident dog around those courts, he rolled over, refused to be distracted by a game of fetch, and insisted on just one thing from the winner: belly rubs and more belly rubs. Fans of the Big Bear Nature Cam have some questions for Shadow. Just hours after the death of his longtime mate Jackie, the bald eagle had a new and younger visitor in the family nest. Is it a guy friend just coming by to check in, or is it a new potential mate? All bird watchers know for now is a name: KD1, the number on the new bird's leg band. She skydived for birthday number 80. She did it again at 90. And Ruby McNally of California just celebrated birthday 100 by skydiving once again. Her daughter says at 100, you're not talking her out of anything. Up next, Steve Hartman is on the road with an embarrassing high school initiation ritual that freshmen hate, but their mothers love. Thank you, Steve. That's another day in America and another week. I'm Tony DeCopel. For all of us here at CBS News, thank you for watching. Good night and have a great weekend.